A lot of what we buy and eat travels by rail to reach our local stores. But Friday, those trains could stop dead in their tracks because freight workers are threatening to strike over safety, paid time off, and poor working conditions. Erica Ferrando is joining me in the studio now to explain how that railroad strike could affect your budget.
Katie, we're talking about clothing, cars, oil, and food all being impacted. Americans are already dealing with inflation, but if unions representing railroad workers and the railroad companies can't come to agreements by Friday, our prices could rise even more, as the strike could create massive issues with the supply chain. Railroad companies and unions are at odds over sick time and attendance policies. And if they can't come to agreements by the national strike deadline Friday, a nationwide rail strike would begin.
The issue in this strike isn't about getting a bunch more money. The issue in this strike is people being able to control their time.
Tulane Economics Professor Doug Nelson explains a rail strike would put a strain on the supply chain.
Prices of things will go up. For the same reason that we've seen prices of things like cars go up because of supply chain issues. If you can't get the stuff that you need to make a car, you're just not going to be able to make as many cars.
A strike could impact 30% of freight shipments, including gas, clothes, and food.
We have made crystal clear to the interested parties the harm that American families, businesses, and farmers and communities would experience if they were not to reach a resolution.
We're not going to starve to death because of this.
In anticipation, Amtrak canceled all long-distance trains starting Thursday. Amtrak isn't part of the strike, but it uses the rail lines that would be impacted. And travelers from New Orleans, like the rest of the country, will have to adjust transportation plans. We checked several Thursday long-distance Amtrak trips from New Orleans, including rides to Chicago, St. Louis, and Washington, D.C. They were all canceled. Nelson says we could also expect this to affect the Port of New Orleans.
I think it's important to remember that the Port of New Orleans is a high-volume port. We're not a high-value port, which means that there's a lot of stuff like wheat, corn, soya, oil. All of that comes to New Orleans, and it comes to New Orleans on rail.
Negotiators are trying to reach a deal by Friday to avoid the strike. And we just received a statement from the Port of New Orleans and the New Orleans Public Belt Railroad. They said they're monitoring negotiations, and if an agreement is not reached, the NOPB will work with the 6 Class 1 railroads in New Orleans Gateway to prioritize service as quickly as possible.
Erica, this is serious given inflation right now. What's the federal government doing? Anything?
Well, Katie, the Biden administration says that they are working on contingency plans, like possibly adding more truckers to keep the goods moving. But the trucking industry is already struggling too, so we'll just have to wait and see.
All right, something to watch for sure. Thank you.